It's the SKOR North Twins Show.
All right, SKOR North Extra Innings, little bonus solo episode coming at you here. Declan Goff live here on the SKOR North Twins YouTube channel. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button for Minnesota Twins Entertainment. Appreciate everyone that has jumped on board. We pushed over 3,200 subscribers the last 7 days even on this YouTube channel with some of the best metrics we've had all season. So thank you. The Twins are heating up here a little bit after this roller coaster season. I know they're playing some lowly teams, but regardless, winning is winning. And the Twins take a series today against the Oakland A's. They win 3-0 on a brilliant performance from Pablo Lopez. I'll be honest, I'm going to save some of the things on this Pablo Lopez start for tomorrow. On the State of the Twins episode with Phil Mackey and Judd Zolgad and myself. Going into last week, I actually talked to Pablo and I talked to some other people on background about what's been different about Pablo Lopez. So that's a little tease. Stay tuned tomorrow. I have some intel on that is, I think, worth sharing, and I'm excited to tell you about that. But regardless, I'd be remiss if I did not bring up the fact that Pablo Lopez was obviously excellent today. He goes 8 shutout innings, 100-plus pitches, allows just the 2 hits, ties a career-high 14 strikeouts. Look, it's obvious Pablo Lopez has not had a great year. I don't think it's just necessarily underlying metrics waiting to flip around and all of a sudden he becomes a Cy Young-like pitcher. Eye test-wise, right, outside of today's start, it hasn't been that pretty for Pablo Lopez, but this was a very pivotal point for Pablo Lopez at this point. He came into the game with an ERA north of 5.5. Rocco Baldelli said even in the pregame, I'm obviously back here in Minneapolis, but said in the pregame in Oakland that this start and the next week for Pablo Lopez were a very important stretch for him going forward. I mean, as much as he is still this team's ace and the Twins need Pablo Lopez to be the ace, they can't afford to run out a pitcher who has an ERA north of 5.5 as we get closer to July. And Pablo Lopez made some necessary adjustments today. Made some adjustments, I believe, going into this start. And again, I don't think it's just underlying metrics saying that there is a still really good pitcher in there, which is true. There's no doubt about that. But he needed to make some adjustments. So some of those adjustments I will talk about tomorrow on the State of the Twins episode. But yeah, 14 strikeouts. I know it's a bad Oakland A's team, but you know what? He's been ineffective eye test and traditional starts-wise. Pablo has. He should go out there and shove against Oakland. So good for him to go out there and get the series win for the Twins. Our buddy Ross Brendel on a previous Extra Innings episode brought up the fact that the Twins have not had just a 3-game losing streak all season. When they get to 3-game losing streaks, it has extended into 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. So when they lost the first 2 games, or the final 2 games against Tampa Bay and the first series on Friday to Oakland, there was a feeling of here we go again, right? Like, are they going to go down another losing streak? And luckily, for the first time all year, and I'm crediting Roscoe and his Lakeville math, I did a quick little schedule and results section on Baseball Reference to confirm this. He was correct. This is the first time the Twins just had a 3-game losing streak all season and then snap it. They win back-to-back games to take the series against Oakland. The Dex Plan 5.0, I think we're at 5.0. I said 9-4. Going in to the Colorado series, the Twins went exactly 9-4 against Colorado, Oakland, Tampa Bay, and then Oakland again. They're going to be on the road after this off day on Monday. They'll be on the road for 6 games against Arizona and Seattle before coming home and being off again next Monday as they then head into the 4th of July and kind of all-star break time. So, yeah, a good series win for the Twins after, losing the first game in kind of a fashion that they were not used to seeing. I know Duran has had also a little bit of a roller coaster season, but the fact the Twins were still able to get back-to-back wins and take a series against a bad team, good things. It was interesting Griffin Jax got the 9th. Look, I think Griffin Jax has, and we did our bullpen and trust tree ranking earlier this week on the SKOR North Twins Show, I think Griffin Jax might be right there with Duran in terms of not availability, but reliability as your number 1 fireman out of the bullpen. And today we saw Griffin Jax get the 9th, and I know there was a great battle there with him and Brent Rooker at the end of the game, but regardless, he wins that battle, Griffin Jax that is, and he proved that he could handle the 9th inning. I mean, Jax was handling the ninth inning when Duran started the year on the IL with an oblique injury. It is interesting, though, that Jax got the ninth and not Yohan Duran for Sunday. But regardless, it's a good 1-2 punch. I think a lot of those things with Duran will still even out. I know it's been a little rickety. And the Twins in general probably need an arm or two in the back end of that bullpen that aren't at the top. Brock Stewart eventually will come back. Louis Varland, I would envision, probably gets moved to the bullpen at some point. Wouldn't be surprised if an arm like Matt Moore, who the Twins have been linked to, it feels like, for years, is maybe acquired here by the trade deadline as bullpen depth. They need some depth guys there for lower leverage situations, because lower leverage situations in the playoffs are obviously heightened. So they need all the arms they can possibly get. But Griffin Jax did get the ninth inning there, and Byron Buxton, another big week for him. Over the last 15 games, this is Buck, man. This is who Byron Buxton is. He's going to have 2 weeks where he's on fire like he is right now. He's hitting .291, slashing almost 500, 16 hits, 8 runs, 10 RBI over the last 15 games. And he will have another 2-week stretch where his bat is pretty much unplayable. But I think this is what you should get with Byron Buxton. The Twins have been winning games the last 2 weeks. Byron Buxton has been a big part of that. They're not putting him in a situation to fail. They're not putting him in a situation where he's batting, in the top half. I think him batting 7th, maybe 6th, is exactly where he should be. He's been healthy. He's been able to play elite center field still, which is good news. But this is how it goes sometimes with Byron Buxton, man. I mean, the last 2 weeks have been great for him. I'm sure there's going to be another stretch and swoons where he might not look playable at the plate, but this is kind of who Byron Buxton is at this point. If he can stay on the field, I think that's the most important part for him. And he's been able to stay on the field just one trip to the IL, and they've been able to kind of mix in Austin Martin. I know Willie Castro's got some time there in center, but regardless, it's good to see Byron Buxton obviously put together some good at-bats. Between Bailey Ober yesterday and Pablo Lopez today, going back to the pitching front here for a little bit, this was the first time in the Minnesota era where the Twins retired 34 consecutive batters. Bailey Ober retired the last 17 yesterday. Pablo Lopez retired 17 in a row to start today. I believe Glenn Perkins, with his Stillwater math, said I believe that's like 11 and 2/3 or so perfect innings from Twins starters. And Twins starting pitching needed to have that happen today. The Twins bullpen has been taxed. Great day for an off day tomorrow to kind of reset some things and, give everyone a day off and a breather. But the Twins needed really good back-to-back starts from Bailey Ober and Pablo Lopez. They were able to get that today. And I know we've made a big thing about Pablo Lopez getting off to a slow start, but Bailey Ober has also had a little bit of a ricky start, right? Like, he gets rocked on the first start of the year against Kansas City, then goes on a run in like the next 7 starts where he's legitimately one of the best starting pitchers in the AL, and then kind of goes down again and has been riding the roller coaster. But the Twins starters needed some good performances over this weekend, and I think the Twins rotation has just been in a roller coaster all year. I think a lot of people going into it said it's not going to be enough. Then it exceeded expectations. And I think as we're nearing July here, we're about a month plus, about 5 weeks from the MLB trade deadline. I think arms are probably going to be available, and arms are going to be things that the Twins are calling on, both in the rotation and in the bullpen. Chris Paddock could probably use an off day. David Festa, I was able to see him pitch on Thursday with the St. Paul Saints. He could be someone that makes some spot starts. Louis Varland, who we mentioned earlier on this podcast, I think it's clear his future is definitely in the bullpen, maybe not as a starter. But regardless, you're going to need as many starting pitchers as possible. And, Joe Ryan's been great. Chris Paddock has coming off, a couple Tommy John surgeries, and I know he is finally might be hitting a wall here where he might need some dead arm, or has some dead arm and might need a trip to the IL too. So you need your starting pitchers to perform, and luckily the Twins haven't had to rely on slappies too much this year. But I wouldn't be surprised if like a Festa comes up, or if maybe they end up, acquiring an arm or two at the trade deadline. Again, Twins off on Monday. They're going to play Arizona and Seattle the rest of the week. State of the Twins tomorrow with Phil Mackey and Judd Zulgad and myself. I will dive more into what I kind of learned about Pablo Lopez over the last week. He got rocked again his last start out against Tampa Bay. I was able to catch up with him post-start one-on-one and also talk to some other people on background about maybe what's not working for Pablo Lopez and what has to change going forward. I think we saw some of those today. Very excited to talk about that with Mackie and Judd and you guys as well. So hit the like button, hit subscribe button. This is SKOR North Extra Innings. You can expect Extra Innings content for the majority of home games, some select road games as well. State of the Twins episodes on Monday. Trevor Plouffe joins on Tuesday. I saw the Twins were on the Immaculate Grid on Sunday, so Mackie, Judd, and myself will definitely hit up an Immaculate Grid at the back end of tomorrow's SKOR North Twins Show. So stay tuned for that. Purple Daily, too. Plenty of great stuff happening here at SKOR North. Hit the like button and subscribe button. Keep spreading the word about the SKOR North Twins Show. It's obviously been a blast doing this. I wanted to do this for a long time, and now I'm able to do this, and the Twins have been able to win some games here. We'll see what happens as the trade deadline heats up. So hit the like button, hit subscribe button, stay up to date. This is SKOR North Extra Innings. Be talking at you guys tomorrow.